And then we don't have chili oil, but I do like to add some kick to it. We added a little bit of Fresno. We're going to add a little bit of that Calabrian red chili flake. And now we can finish making the dressing for this. This is a real sleeper. It's really like one of those like yin-yang kind of cooling dishes, but it balances it out with a little heat first. So we're going to add some sesame to that. That's a generous little half tablespoon. Actually, that was more like a half teaspoon. We don't need a tablespoon. I'm going to get a little bit of soy sauce in there. Just about a teaspoon. And you could really use any vinegar you'd like. I'm just going to use about a tablespoon of this rice vinegar. And this really is almost like a Chinese pickle. I might even add a little more hot sauce to this because it does have that nice balance. But if any of you like barbecue and you've ever had like barbecue cucumber salad kind of thing, this is like really like a Chinese version of that. It's really nice. I'm gonna hit up with a little bit of chili paste here. That's chili garlic. It looks like sriracha, but it's chili garlic. Not a lot, just a little bit. And again, these are sweet onions, Fresno chilies, which are kind of like a red bell pepper. They're a little bit sweet, a little bit spicy. The sauteed garlic, the chili flakes, a little sugar, all that stuff. And this you can just let this sit just a little bit. It gets better as it sits, but I'm going to give it a taste just to make sure everything's seasoned good enough. Yep. You can add some bean sprouts or like some noodles to that too. I mean, that'd be a great cold noodle salad. But as it is, it's awesome. Use my measuring spoon again here. Alright, we're just going to let that sit in the fridge. You don't need to get a giant bag like this of strawberries, but I happen to have that. We're going to just take this out and set it aside because we're going to be making something with these. And before we do that, we're just going to finish patting down these wings. Making sure they're nice and dry, so they'll soak up the rest of the marinade. It's funny, you know, it's one of those things, like, I never thought about soaking chicken wings. I would just take them out of the package and just, like, season them up and use them, but it makes a really big difference when you do something like that here. Especially because we're going to fry them. So we're just going to make sure, yep, those are nice and dry. And you can slit these too. You can also cut them into, you can cut the flats and stuff into halves, so you get little like tidbits. I'm not going to do that. I don't even, like, you can make a slice, you know, you can just like make a couple slices here. across this to really get the marinade in. I don't think I'm gonna even bother. Fry them with love for sure. I need to get my knife sharpened. I have like a cheapo Amazon knife. I have some expensive knives. I need to re-oil the handle on this. This is another one I got when I was pretty young from my parents. I got really into like watching the Chinese chefs cook, and that's where that one kind of comes from. Little Yan Can cook, you know. So. And then for this, we're just going to stir it up. You don't have to do it in a bowl if you really want to, you know, leave this overnight in the fridge or something. You can put this in like a gallon bag if you really want to. I just want to make sure that they're nice and covered. And then press them in, and the liquid usually comes up. And you can stir them halfway if you're really concerned about even coverage. These are going to have a good flavor either way. This is just to give them a little bit of, little extra, you know. My parents trusted me with sharp objects when I was like 6 or 7 years old. I started cooking with my dad in the kitchen at like 6 or 7. They gave me this tiny, pretty sharp little paring knife. And I didn't cut myself until I was 10 years old, and that was with my first pocket knife. That's not that one. That's actually a scar from the knife that I just showed you guys. So I have a horseshoe-shaped scar on this thumb, which is from my first pocket knife. Like one of those little baby Swiss Army knives. I was opening and closing it, and the corner of my little thumb there got stuck in it. But this is one from cutting towards my hand, trying to go through an onion actually. So I had an onion like this, and I was cutting this way, and I cut right into my thumb. And I had just moved to the area. I had no idea where the hospital was. I called my college girlfriend and had her drive me to the emergency department. And the lady in the emergency department was very pregnant and very annoyed that I went to the emergency department for stitches. I don't think I even heard of urgent care at that point. Duke, how are you? Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for the lurk. She tried to numb up my thumb, and only half my thumb was numb. So I got 3 stitches in that thumb. It healed nicely, pretty nicely, and I felt every other stitch hole. So it's 6 holes and 3 stitches. I felt every other one. It was not fun. My thumb was throbbing. But she was trying to distract me and talk to me, and I was like, lady, shut the fuck up. In the interest of not baking anything, because it is like 90 degrees, I do have the air conditioner, the central air going here. In the interest of like keeping things on just like a stovetop level today, I'm not going to bake an angel food cake. If anybody really wants to see me make angel food cake in the future, I'd be more than happy to do it. But I did just buy one. They had fresh ones at the market. But we're going to make strawberry sauce, basically. Excuse me. Oh, man. Those peelers, especially the brand new ones, like, they really can get you. They'll really mess you up. I've done that before. Got the edge of my finger on one. Yeah, I was embarrassed about that one. I don't even know if you can see burns on the... That's a burn. You know, obviously hasn't put me off from cooking, but this pan's gonna be a little small for what we're gonna do, but Try to make it happen. So this has a little pull open slot on here. And you can see these are fresh frozen strawberries. And I'm just breaking them like you would a bag of ice cubes right now. I got a little bit too much on the one chunk, so there we go. There we go. A little frosty. It's my goal to use up as many of these strawberries as I can over the next couple days, because I'm moving and I don't want to move an entire freezer full of stuff. I also have some frozen raspberries here. We're going to make a little berry sauce. I got blueberries as well. Originally I advertised this as just strawberries, but we're going all in here. And since we're going to be cooking this down a little bit, I'm not afraid to add a little bit of water. And then we're going to add some sugar to this, because this is completely unsweetened too. So I just got this on high heat. Put some water in there to get everything thawing quicker. And I'm not even going to measure, but I'm going to put about a cup. I like to do 2 parts fruit to 1 part sugar. It's probably a little lower than what some people do, but by volume, I guess. And I do have a cover for this. I'm going to probably just get some... I figured like shortcake, even though it's not really shortcake, is a good one for these. These were made into a syrup with some sugar and stuff for some waffles. We did like a waffle thing for a fundraiser, and I ended up with all the extra waffle stuff. So, blueberries. I got nice fresh blueberries here. Just wanted to see how reasonably not too tart. So those will be good. We're not going to cook these down. We're going to keep these fresh. I'm just going to pop them back in the fridge. We do have some cream that we're going to beat up here. As usual, everything comes down to dairy here. And you can see the angel food cake there. Kind of, sort of. It's just our water dish. That's on high, so it should catch up pretty quickly here. I need another mixing bowl. And then I have a little vanilla extract here. I don't want to dump the whole thing in there. You can see the vanilla beans in there too. You can add some vodka to that and actually like kind of bring that back up too. A little more than a tablespoon of sugar. And probably like 3/4 of a cup of cream there. Now we play Where's My Whisk. Or better yet, we can play with our toys here. I can feel the heat coming off of that. Woo! Starting to get there. Where did I put that? I'm looking for my hand blender. I usually put it back under here with the attachments. It's not sticking out to me. Trixie thinks I left it on the counter. probably behind here. I have a laptop set up, so I'm like kind of looking around my laptop and my dishwasher. I know it's not in the dishwasher. It better not be anyway. And if it's in there, I put it there, so I'm in big trouble with myself. I did not. I don't know. I've been all over the place lately. That is strange, though. When was the last time I used it? I made mayonnaise? Is that what I did? There it is. It was on a gray sheet pan on the drying rack. And as usual in the stream, we do turn off our music and our sound when we use any kind of devices so that we don't cause any distress, ear distress. So we'll be right back with a little bit of All right, very good. My beater came loose in the middle of doing that. It was a little funny. No. Hilda, no. Dog's too curious about the dishwasher. I'm just gonna get this out of here. I managed to get vanilla extract everywhere. When I stirred the bottom up, it like kicked it all off the bottom. We've got a nice homemade whipped cream here. Not bad. Switching gears here a little bit. We're going to get back to stirring these guys up one last time. guys a stir. We want to use here. Just want to make sure everything's thawing pretty evenly on the stove here, so I'm just gonna push around some of these frozen bits and push everything into water. I'm just gonna let this simmer with a lid just a little bit open, and then we'll get all the liquid out of there. So, and we got this. This is all set. And then I'm going to switch burners here. So we're going to bring over our frying oil, and I'm going to turn the back burner on here to about medium heat. This is on about a 5 out of 9. And for our last step here, I'm just going to grab I guess I'll just use this little noodle bowl. We're going to put some starch in here. Now, I'm gonna do white rice flour today. That's the kind of, you know, it uses soy sauce, so nothing here is gluten-free. But if you wanted to, you could use just this plain old white flour. It's got a great crisp to it. The other option is 50-50 cornstarch and all-purpose flour. So I'm going to use some of this rice flour. I got this for our crispy fried chicken recipe, and I used some other things with it. I really just want to see how this comes out. So we're going to do a couple of wings this way. I'm just going to keep letting this oil heat up too, and I'll let these guys sit together. But I'm really curious to see how it comes out. And then we're going to finish the wings in this skillet. A small batch of them, because I'm going to end up cooking all of these wings but only eating some of them, you know what I'm saying? We'll plate up some too. You know, we always got to take a picture. And let me plug this phone back in. Make sure we stay online here. But I'm really excited to try out this too. So some of these won't be salted pepper, but they're going to be marinated, and some of them are going to get some of this Japanese barbecue sauce. I'm a big fan of their original, so I'm really excited to try out the yuzu citrus. And if anybody missed it, we chopped up a jalapeno, 2 Fresno, or about 1.5 Fresnos, about half of a sweet onion, and 3 cloves of garlic. So that's going to go in our chicken wings too. That's going to get very aromatic. We'll use a little bit of that frying oil, a little bit of sesame oil, and then we'll add our salted pepper seasoning. So I guess we can make that seasoning while we let that heat up. And this is just regular old sea salt. Nothing too fancy. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, going with the smaller one. So this is quarters, so we're going to add 4 quarters of a teaspoon to make a teaspoon. So again, that's 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, You can also just substitute with garlic salt. You could just use 2 teaspoons of garlic salt if you wanted to. I know that the math doesn't really add up here, but just trust me, we're going for it, you know. And then a little goes a long way here. About 3/4 of a teaspoon of white pepper. I can smell that oil heating up. It kind of smells like the fair. Since we recycled our oil, this is probably the last round of oil for this. Just double checking my seasoning. I got a nice salt. Oh yeah. A little bit of MSG, just a little bit, and a pinch of sugar. That's going to make the MSG really pop. I'm actually going to add just a little bit more MSG, honestly. That's really going to make all the monosodium glutamate pop with all the other flavors that we've already added in there. And these will be like the best tasting chicken wings you'll ever have in your life, kind of thing. No bouillon powder necessary. You could certainly use bouillon powder if you wanted to add it to this, but there's no need to. I'm just adding a little bit more pepper. I just really want to make sure that it's peppery. So when the time comes, that's our seasoning. Just make sure everything's well incorporated. And then you can tell, usually you can use like a bamboo chopstick. I'm just going to put this whole thing in here. Perfect. I can see the bubbles coming off of that. So that means it's time for us to start frying. And the other thing I'm going to set up just before we do start frying is grab one of these sheet pans. Kind of like we're bringing it to the barbecue here, we're going to use our roaster pan. Just a little bit of musical stove action over here. Nice and hot. So we're just going to toss this in and gently press on these. Really get all the moisture combined with this this rice flour. Again, this is unseasoned. We already marinated, and we're going to be adding the salt and pepper seasoning to it. I'm sorry, you probably can't see that. But this is just plain old flour. And I'm just going to start lining some up here. You can put this in a big bag and do this if you really are, stretched for time. We're doing this for stream, so we out here. Just want to make sure that this flour is all over your beautiful chicken wings that you just put all that nice effort into marinating and purifying and whatnot. Oh, we got a little bit of rice into our heated oil there, but we're gonna do these around 350. And then we'll make sure with a thermometer that we've reached our internal temperature. Anywhere between like 160, or anything over 165 is good. I kind of like about a 180 or so, especially for a chicken thigh, but for wings also. And then I'm still running until June 11th. If you give 5 gift subs in the channel, you get a limited edition Golden Chef Moon for the channel, supporting the cooking streams. We greatly appreciate anybody's any subs or gifted subs all the time, but just a show of thanks. I have that promotion running. I might be persuaded to extend it another month because I could do it for like a year if I wanted to. Oh, we're in ads. You could also use potato starch if you can't use cornstarch and flour. Like I said, usually like a 50-50 split is really good for that. These smell amazing before I've even cooked them, so we're in for a good time here. Right, Hilda? You're a good girl, Hilda. I don't like her in the kitchen when I'm frying, so I'm gonna kick her out, but... I'm just going to wait another 30 seconds so everybody comes back so that we can fry together. Maybe I'll unplug this one more time just so we can all go in together here. Get a mess here. Getting rice flour all over the place. Just gently float them away from you. Try not to let that happen. And I'm going to start with those two. We got it real hot, so we're going to turn it down just a little bit. And that just boiled over on the other side of the stove, so I'm turning that off just so that we don't get a big burnt sugar disaster. Those are looking nice. I'm just cleaning up the spilled sugar over here. And we'll let these keep cooking for just a little longer here. And I didn't want that to boil. I did have it on a lower heat so it wouldn't boil over. Such is life. We're just going to clean up. I've already cleaned up most of the sugar off of the top of the range. Now I just got to get it off of the pot so that we don't... If I had another small pot, I would just add these to that pot because it would be way easier, but that's alright. It is what it is. And it's a hot pot, alright. Just be careful. So I'll put this back over on medium-low heat. As I was saying before, you want to make sure you get these cooked to final temperature before you get them to final crisp. That's why we try to fry a little bit slower at first and then come back and hit it a little bit hotter, you know. So let's have some decent color on them. I'm going to take them out and probe them, just because I don't want these to get any darker than they are. And they do have this really nice crackle finish to them. Some of the breading is at the bottom. You know, it's the importance of shaking off the extra breading. So before we add this next batch here, just make sure you get all your extra breading off. And these are at room temperature, by the way. These aren't cold. So it's going to drop the temperature of the oil a little bit slower. Whatever oil is in there is fine, because we're going to be sauteing in that pan with this oil anyway, so. Alright. Hi, Hilda. Can you go lay down, please? Can you go in your bed, please? Go on. Build the bed. Build the bed. Go on, boy. Get in your bed. Come on, good boy. Go on, get in your bed. Come on. Alright, we've shooed the dogs. We've dropped our oil down a little bit. Now we just need to grab that thermometer I promised myself. I have stashed it again. Here it is. Here we go. I'm in the middle of like packing half this kitchen up just to get ahead of things for when I move in July. So and you don't have to bread these, you can just deep fry the chicken, but just make sure it's nice and dry when you put it in. I like the extra crisp of the flour and the stuff. Alright, we're at about 165. That's good. Considering I already took them out. And they'll get a second fry. These are some bigger pieces, so they'll probably take a little bit longer. I'm glad that they're frying a little bit slower. The color is developing a little bit more gradually. We turn them because this isn't a deep fryer, the temperature's not even, the bottom is going to be a little bit hotter. So I'm just gently flipping those over. I'm not trying to break the crust on them. And then I'm just stirring my berries right now. We're going to add some lemon juice to our berries to make sure we get our perfect consistency and flavor. You just need a little bit of acid bite because it comes out when you put these down. Our sweetness is pretty good. When that gets thicker, it's going to be perfect. Alright. Now that we've finished cleaning up our small disaster, we're going to get back to breading some more chicken here. Let you guys watch this fry away. It's probably pretty loud. And even though I've used that oil before for stuff, it's probably still cleaner than a lot of the restaurants you could get these at. So I don't want to cast too many dispersions, but there are some pretty gross tasting fryers at different places. Well, that's not too bad, honey. Thank you on the break. Come on, let's go straight. You go straight. Let's go. Go straight. Let's go. What's up, guys? Straight. Come on, move straight. Let's go. Just doing a little bit of puppy wrangling. Walking away from a hot pot of oil here, but we're going to be alright. Give these guys another 2 minutes or so. And just stirring my strawberries and raspberries, getting all the liquid breaking down. If you boil your fruit too hard, you will break the pectin in it, which is bad for making like jellies or jams. I prefer not to because I like the body that it gives. Otherwise you have to add a lot of sugar to get the same body. Just getting rid of the crispies from that. Just kind of giving these quarter turns, or half turns if they're flats, just to make sure they're all getting cooked pretty evenly here. After this batch, I'll probably have to take out a